You know, I was just packed my COVID-19 preventive wear. You are laughing at my...
Yeah, because where did you even get that? In Kasempa? You got it in Kasempe Komaile?
How do I look? I look fantabulous.
You look okay.
I gave business to, I'm sure...
It's good you are practicing health guidelines.
Yeah, I do, especially when I'm sitting next to people that I don't trust.
Okay, that's interesting.
I mean, it's just normal. And these days, you can't trust anyone. The only thing that I love here is, you know, the social distancing. It's visible. I mean, very visible, and I like that. Good morning, Constance.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning to you too. The viewers are not answering. Good morning. Eventually, for if you, bakapiri umungulu wa ukapiri nombe mumungulu wa papa pesapa
bajikankata. Good morning, this is the Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show right here on Camnet TV, not just another channel. Kalalu Mchima is here, of course, as you can see. He's wearing a mask for the first time.
No,
I think he has now believed that
No, what I'm just trying to say is when you are sitting next to people that you don't trust.
So, anyway, Corona has nothing to do with trust or trusting people. So you just look at somebody and then you say, okay, because you don't trust Constance,
yeah, but,
now you're going to wear a mask. Even those you trust can have it.
All I'm saying is, if I said I'm sitting next to you, as in
of course, I'm the only person you're sitting next to right now.
No, but I've been wearing this mask for a long time, Constance.
Oh, really?
For a long time.
Has it been washed?
Okay. I did just want to say this. I've been observing your coughing lately hasn't been too...
Please.
Your coughing has been a little bit, you know, prolonged.
Corona-ish.
It's been corona-ish. Actually, Ado bagamba. Foreign Maxi, you know.
At Maxi. It's good anyway, at least they know.
Yeah, have you been at the end of the... I don't know whether that's just their language or they don't just know how to pronounce mask.
I think I've also observed that some people are finding it difficult to say mask. Kibakam but max.
Max.
Face max. You understand?
Max, yeah, right. And I said I was listening. Oh, you guys say mask or max? Max up, imwe. Max up, wapwai.
But what's important is you know.
You know, yeah. You know, but it's just funny. You know, it's quite funny. Yeah. Funny or fun? Funny.
Funny.
Whichever.
No, it's not. Fun is when it's happening. Oh, this is fun. But funny, it's soon.
Apparently, you know, I was in. Today, I don't want to accuse. Jesus Christ, do I look like? How am I looking like? No, I think Isaac has done something. I can't be. No.
You see how, can you accept it?
No, look at how black I look. No, Isaac, can you do something to the picture, please? You cannot do such a thing. I don't want to disown you for the second time. You know, I was in Chikankata. I don't know, the water in Chikankata is not all that good.
You were in Jirankata. It's not even Chikankata, it's Jirankata.
The water in Chikankata is very bad. And I must confess also that I don't know. I don't know how you survive, Constance, with your relatives. Upper. Once you cross the Kafue River, Ukuyoku, how do you survive? I don't think so. Constance, let's go for the morning boost. Then when we come back, we'll be discussing national matters, especially the acquittal of Health Minister Chitalu Chilufya. Not long ago, we also saw the acquittal of then Infrastructure Minister Ronald Chitotela, now Tourism and Arts Minister, of course on allegations of corruption. Now, there's been a lot of talk in this country with regard to how these court processes are taking shape. So, TIZ Executive Director, Mr. Maurice Nyambe, is already in the studio. When we come back from the Morning Boost, we should be able to join him on the set. Or he should be joining us on the set. Morning Boost, then we'll be into the discussion. Good morning.
A very good morning to you and welcome to Morning Boost. This is Isaac Matsa, always here in the morning to make sure that you have a great day. Therefore, today we're going to do some simple workouts, different kinds of workouts in 5 minutes. As usual, it's going to be a warm-up. Let's go. Start with the warm-up. Good morning. Let me know where you're watching us from. Let's go. Very easy. Okay, I'm gonna change very soon. Here's the next one. Thank you. Trotting. Do this anywhere. You can do this in your kitchen, from your living room, outside, car park, anywhere. Okay, here we go now. So the first workout we're going to do, we'll do some mountain climbers. Okay, let's go. We'll do both for the beginners and for those already in the workouts system. Go down, see my body. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. Make sure that you're pushing in your knee in. 10. So I'm going to do 40 mountain climbers. 20 will be basic. The next 20 will be a little bit advanced. Last 10. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You should be feeling your hands by now. 8, if you're doing it correctly. Okay, so that was 20. You can take a 15-second break, sip some water. Let's do the last 20 of mountain climbers now. Yes, she just sipped some water. Don't mind, the person behind the camera. Let's go now. 20 of them. Okay, 10 in breaks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 more to go. Okay, let's go. Last 10. I'm sure my 15-second break is up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Here's your active break. That was 10. Try this. Leave a comment. Let's see how you're doing. Let's match. 2 steps each. 2. 2. 2 steps. I'm going to add a grapevine now. 2 each. Grapevine. Try this, daddy. 2 each. Stay at it. I'm gonna change soon. Let's march. Keep marching. 1, 2. 1, 2. Let's run now. See? You just need a little space for you to do your running. Almost done, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I always feel good every time you join me. So make sure to do this every day and you're gonna be fit. Don't miss another session next week. This is Isaac Matsa and I'm signing out with a punch on your face. 1, 2.
All right, thank you so much to Isaac for the exercises, and I'm sure me, I'm exercising on the cup. You know, sometimes it's also one of the Constance, you're laughing at my lips. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, his lips are pink. Have you seen that his entire face is black? And then his lips just decided to be pink since he came back from Kasempa.
Your eyes are also pink, so I don't know what's going on with your eyes.
Ah, well, my eyes are not pink.
Okay, it's fine. I will talk when Mr. Nyambe is out. When Mr. Nyambe is out of the studio, as we promised that Mr. Nyambe is coming in from TIZ, and he's the executive director. And of course, we are discussing the continued, all right? What word did I want to use?
Acquittals. What are those acquittals or the continued
acquittals
of
something which sounds like that.
Yeah.
Mr. Nyambe, good morning.
Good morning, Kalani.
All right, how have you been?
Not bad, not bad at all. I mean, still trying to keep safe. As you know, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Still trying to keep safe, and really God is keeping us.
No wonder why I pitied you with this lady from Jika Kalomo.
Is she immune to the pandemic?
Well, she claims. Mr. Nyambe, so much talk about ACC. I don't know. I don't even know where to start from. But all I've seen is that Minister Chitaluchi was arrested on the 24th of June and discharged on the 25th of August. Exactly 2 months, as if it was timed. Your quick reaction.
Yes, Kalani. I think the issue of the minister's arrest, subsequent trial, and then ultimately acquittal is something that has generated a lot of interest and a lot of debate, and I think for obvious reasons. I think you and I, and probably a lot more stakeholders, were very, very surprised about the events that unfolded within that case. I'm talking, of course, about the testimony that was, presented by the investigation officer from the Anti-Corruption Commission. I think it's something that really, really shocked everybody. And once that testimony, was put on record, I think the writing was pretty much on the wall. And you could already, foretell where the case was headed. And so, ultimately, the acquittal was really not a surprise. It didn't come as a surprise to us, maybe as disappointing as it was, but also just to emphasize that our disappointment is not really so much that the minister was acquitted per se, but our disappointment is in the fact that it seems that the SEC really did not, put their house in order in terms of being able to prosecute this case successfully.
But for how long are they not going to put their house in order? That's a question. Because nowadays, every high-profile case that is going through the hands of the ACC, you already know the outcome.
It is a big concern, even for ourselves as TIZ, because certainly, as you've rightly put, that seems to be, the trend that we have seen, particularly when it comes to high-profile cases. And I think we need to begin to see some change in that regard. What this has done also is that it has eroded, the public trust that people have or had in the SEC. And you know, trust is a very difficult commodity to regain once you lose it. And so, I mean, what we have seen even with the case that we're talking about, it is not helping in terms of, you know, building that confidence and building that trust that the public should have in a very important institution such as the SEC. So it makes it a lot more difficult for them to be able to, you know, to do their work, for them to be able to fulfill their constitutionally mandated role. But I think it's, I mean, this case really has provided lessons which we hope as TIZ that the SEC is going to learn, so that going forward we should be able to see them prepare for cases better. I mean, we need them to prepare for cases in a meticulous way, so that, you know, we do not get outcomes such as the ones that we have repeatedly seen, particularly when it comes to high-profile cases.
I know Constance also has got a few questions. Constance should be also checking over the interview shortly. But look, this is SEC. They hold a press briefing. They say, we've done our investigations over a period of time, and we've come to a realization that this man has got property suspected to be from proceeds of crime in Dubai, here locally, and they gave us 4 properties here, there. So meaning for them to come out like that, they had their evidence at the fingertips, and there's no way out of I don't know the population now, whether we are 16 million pushing to 17 million population. They just choose one particular individual, zero in on Maurice Nyambe of having stolen something from TIZ. Yes, you are the executive director, but there are other people out there. But why zero in on Chitaluchi Rufia?
Yes, and I think for us that is the concern that we have highlighted. I mean, even in the different media statements that we have made, the fact that, you know, for them to have gotten to a point where they decided to say this is a case that we should prosecute, our expectation and our understanding was that they had a solid case before them, meaning they would have done their due diligence in terms of being able to gather whatever evidence they had. And I think that is even all the more reason why the testimony that we saw from their own officer, who was later on suspended, as we got to learn, that is why it was such a big shock to us and to everybody, I think, who had an interest or who was following the case. But also, you point out a very important aspect, that out of so many people that you know, we are in this country, why did they particularly pick this individual? I think for us, that is even all the more reason why the SEC really should put their house in order in terms of being able to do due diligence on whatever case they decide to prosecute. Because look, if you arrest somebody, I think for you to get to a stage where you arrest somebody and you even start prosecuting them, I think you need to have put your house in order, because arresting somebody is not something that is an easy thing to do, and it's not easy even for the person who's being arrested, because that person will permanently have a stain on them that they were arrested on charges of crime. I mean, even if the person ultimately gets acquitted, but that stain and that mark will somehow always be there. Right. And so that is why it is all the more reason why it's imperative that the SEC really needs to do their due diligence before they decide on what cases to prosecute. And we're hoping that they have learned some very valuable lessons from this case, and we hope that these are lessons that they will take in even as they continue to do their very important work.
Right, Constance?
Okay, would we be right if we said the Anti-Corruption Commission is not independent enough to carry out their mandate?
Well, that is a very big question, Constance. I think maybe the starting point is to note and to state that the SEC was created by an act of parliament, so and it is the body that is constitutionally mandated to actually lead the fight against corruption in Zambia. And of course, it is in everybody's interest that the SEC should fulfill that mandate to as much an extent as possible in terms of being independent. We would like to believe that they do try, and maybe they do have a desire to actually function and, you know, fulfill their mandate as independently as possible. But we are also alive to the fact that the SEC does have a lot of challenges, some of which maybe we may be privy to because we do have some joint interventions that we do with them. So challenges to do with, for example, even if you look at just the way the SEC is funded. So the SEC is funded by central government, and so that alone, I think a lot of stakeholders have raised that as an issue that maybe inhibits their ability to really function as a fully independent entity, because if you are relying on the same central government that is funding you to then maybe even prosecute cases from members of that same central government, I mean, it becomes a sort of a challenge.
Like,
so
you can't bite
the finger that feeds you, exactly. So I don't want to sort of put my head on the chopping board and say it is not independent, but maybe what I would like to believe is that they are trying their best within very difficult conditions. And I think the onus really is on us as the citizens and us as the different stakeholders to see to it that we encourage the SCC in terms of them being able to fulfill their constitutionally guaranteed mandate. There may be some, the influences to which we are not privy, and if those are there, then it would be very sad, and even very sad for the fight against corruption. But I think in the mind of the public, in the mind of many stakeholders, it would be very difficult for them not to reach the conclusion that you have highlighted. I think, like I've mentioned in the beginning, the SCC has lost trust in the public, from the public. And I think part of the reason why that is the case is that there's this perception that, the commission is not independent, and they don't have the muscle to be able to prosecute cases independently and without any undue influence. So, yeah, it's a million-dollar question, really.
Nice. And also, what exactly do you think they should do, apart from you encouraging them? No, can you do things independently? We know, yes, they get their funding from the central government, but what exactly should be done to ensure that cases are not fought the way they are? Because I think it does now become a matter of concern.
Yes.
Every now and then there's an acquittal, every now and then there's a nole, whatever they call it.
Nole prosequi. Yeah, I mean, I think that is the issue that over which we have also expressed concern. I mean, like I've mentioned, the SCC does have a lot of challenges that it is grappling with, but I think the onus really is on them to begin to rebuild or to regain this trust that they have lost, even amongst the mind of many Zambians and many other different stakeholders. And I think for me and for us, one of the first things that they should do, which we have already made reference to, is that they need to really do due diligence when it comes to whatever cases they decide to take up and they decide to ultimately prosecute. Because, like I said, if you arrest somebody, I mean, that is really a big thing, and so you cannot afford to start off on a case when you are ill prepared, as the case seems to have been on this particular issue. And so, for me, I think the first thing that they need to do is that they need to do due diligence on all the cases that they are intending to prosecute. That will be very important. But beyond that, I think that there are a lot of other maybe wider issues that we can also look at. I know for a fact that, for example, the National Anti-Corruption Policy is currently under review. Now, I think that is an important, policy document that needs to be put in place. Okay, because what that would do is that it will provide the framework, it will provide the strategic direction that the fight against corruption requires. And so maybe part of the reason why we have seen maybe what I can even call some reckless statements that have been made by senior government officials related to the fight against corruption. Perhaps part of the reason why we've seen those statements is because there apparently doesn't seem to be a strategic direction, as a direction that is going to point to how we want to tackle issues of corruption in this country. And so the finalization of the review process of the National Anti-Corruption Policy is a key thing that has to be done. So coupled with their own improvements as a commission, I think that will sort of begin to help us to make progress even when it comes to the fight against corruption, which remains a very key aspect of our governance at different levels.
Okay, I've been looking at that book. Is it about the Anti-Corruption Commission?
Oh, no. No. This is not about the SCC. This is a book by Michaela Wrong, and it's called It's Our Turn to Eat. Okay, and it's the story of a Kenyan whistleblower. Now, the interesting thing is that this whistleblower is somebody who worked for Transparency International Kenya. So he was part of Transparency International Kenya, and then I think he got He got promoted to a big post. I think it was the anti-corruption agency in Kenya. He was head of that. And so basically, this looks at what he then discovered to be what was going wrong within the country, that levels of corruption were really gigantic, so to speak. And a lot of this corruption was actually being perpetrated by senior government officials, going right up to the very top. And so he was very disgusted about this whole thing. And so he decided to flee. I think he fled to the UK and then fled to go and put this book together. So it's a very interesting book, which I would encourage you to read. I really do hope that this is not what is happening in our country.
All right. No, I mean, this book seems to be close to your heart because, I mean, TIZ...
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. It is close to my heart. And I think what this does also is that it is, for me, it is like a warning. It provides some warning signals of maybe some flags that we should, some red flags that we should be on the lookout for, even when it comes to our own governance processes. Because believe me, corruption is really, really a big issue that we need to begin to make progress in terms of addressing. And so it's important also to learn lessons from different jurisdictions and different countries in terms of how they have addressed the issue in order for us to then contextualize some of these efforts.
Right. You know, there was, should be last year, there was a delegation, a parliamentary delegation from Kenya. They were at Parliament, so we met, and I went to ask the delegation leader about the corruption talk in Kenya. You know, Kenya is one of the countries that seems to record high cases of corruption. Corruption, excuse me. So I went to ask this. I've even forgotten. He's not a minister. He's an MP, but he was the one leading that delegation. He's the chairman for one of the committees. Then I asked him my question to do with corruption, and then he looks at me and smiles and says, "It seems in Africa we are only known for corruption, eh?" That was his response. He walked away with his delegation. That's how. So it seems in Africa only known for corruption. Yeah,
that's very sad. But you see, also for me, I mean, that story that you narrate, I think it resonates with some of the comments that we've seen even in our own context from senior government officials. I think not too long ago, I mean, you guys are in the media, and I'm sure you heard this. I think we've heard and seen the Minister of Information, who's also the Chief Government Spokesperson, make several statements related to corruption, where somebody says, you know, corruption is there everywhere in the world, and so we should not make this a daily song. It's become boring. I mean, we've heard those statements that are being made, and I think that ties in with what you have said. But I think for us, the concern with that is that, you see, it tries to normalize what is a very abnormal phenomenon. Corruption is an abnormal phenomenon, and I think I cannot stress this hard enough. We should never get to a point where we begin to make corruption seem normal. Okay, and I think the story that you've just narrated absolutely speaks to that. Also, you know, the reckless statements, as I call them, that we have seen from senior government officials, where they try to normalize corruption. We need to begin to realize that corruption has serious effects and serious impacts on our economy and on many other aspects of our lives. And also, the important thing that we have always stated is that corruption is not a victimless crime. Okay. There are always victims that suffer the effects of the brunt of corruption. And so we need to get to a point where we do not normalize corruption. There's nothing normal about corruption, and we should not make it seem that way. And so for us, when we see some of those reckless statements being made by senior government officials, I mean, it causes us to wonder, really. Because one of the biggest tragedies also that we have seen in this country when it comes to the fight against corruption is that there's a lot of verbal commitment that we've seen. Okay, so we've had a lot of statements from senior government officials. I'm not afraid to say right from the top. We've seen a lot of commitments that have been made, or we've heard a lot of commitments. But the problem, and the biggest problem that we have seen, is that these commitments only end at the verbal level, so to speak. They never do get actualized in terms of actually putting in place real measures, putting in place practical measures that are going to address issues of corruption. And so when you see somebody saying, no, corruption is not a big deal, you know, we should not make a big deal out of it. And then that same person again is saying, no, we are committed to the fight against corruption. It causes you to wonder and say, maybe there's something not right about this.
What are some of the practical measures would you suggest that this government should be implementing the fight against corruption?
Yeah, I mean, for us as TIZ, I think, first of all, I think the first thing to note and to make clear is that, you know, the fight against corruption should not just be a TIZ fight, okay? It should not just be a civil society fight. It should not just be an anti-corruption commission fight. This fight against corruption needs the concerted efforts of all stakeholders. You know, you're talking civil society, you're talking government entities, the private sector, the media. I mean, you guys have got a big role to play in all this. In many ways, I mean, I would say we need maybe what I can call, for lack of a better word, what I can call a grand coalition against corruption. That is absolutely what we need to get to in this country. But in terms of more specifically, I think maybe I can mention probably three things that I think are important for us to look at as a country, which is going to help the fight against corruption. The first thing is that you need committed and dedicated leadership at all levels, okay? And we are talking leadership that is going to be value-based as well, leadership that is going to live the values that they profess. So not just profess the values, but actually live those values. I mean, when you hear a minister making fun of, you know, the children of the former president, that, you know, the reason why they are, you know, talking like this is because they never took advantage of their father being president in order to make money. I mean, you start to wonder and say, what values are we trying to promote here? And remember, we are a Christian nation and we're supposed to be guided by Christian values. So if you see a statement like that, a statement which points to somebody who really does not even have empathy for the difficulties that Zambians are grappling with now, the economic challenges that we're having to grapple with, it sort of makes you wonder and say, do we really have value-based leadership in this country? And I think it's important for us to get that right. We need dedicated political will and commitment to be able to fight corruption. This will be actualized not just in terms of the statements that are being made, but actually also in terms of how people and leaders are living their lives. That is number one. The second thing is that as a country, I think what we need also is maybe what I can call a comprehensive and to some extent even integrated approach to the whole fight against corruption. I mean, corruption is very dynamic and it evolves and it's got many facets to it. And so even efforts that are intended to fight it should also be dynamic in nature. They should also have a lot of facets to them, because that is the only way that we are going to get it right. So this aspect of, you know, nitpicking and maybe just focusing on particular types of corruption, I think is something that should end. You cannot just keep focusing on maybe petty corruption or targeting maybe specific government leaders or things like that. It needs a comprehensive and integrated approach that is going to look at corruption in its entirety. And also maybe just at this point, I would like to maybe put to bed one myth, which is that, you know, there's this conception out there that we as civil society and even organizations like TIZ, like maybe we are out to get the government in some way. I mean, that couldn't be further from the truth. So the point is that as TIZ, for example, speaking for TIZ, we are an organization that is dedicated and committed to advocating for the fight against corruption. And so we will speak out against corruption wherever and whenever we see it. So it doesn't matter if the corruption is being perpetrated by a government official or a party official in PF. I mean, if we see corruption in the NDC, if we see corruption in the UPND, in wherever, we are going to speak out against it. And I think that is the sort of a comprehensive, broad-based approach that I'm talking about, that we need to start to look at corruption in its broad sense, because corruption is not just, you know, the cases that we see with the SEC. There's a lot of corruption that happens in so many different entities, both government as well as the private sector. So it is important for us to put in place broad-based measures that are going to ensure that we get to where we're going. The last one, and maybe let me end with this. The last one is that I really do think that we need to begin to invest our anti-corruption efforts and our anti-corruption drive in the young people, because ultimately that is what is going to get this country moving forward. So we need already at this point to begin to invest into the next cadre of anti-corruption activists, and this is the young people that we need to really begin to invest in. What that will do also is that it will help to sort of, change the mindset because you are beginning to talk about accountability and good governance from people that are very young, and so that when they begin to grow, they are not going to leave that. I mean, it ties in with what the scripture says in the book of Proverbs, that if you train a child in a way that he should go, that child is not going to depart from it. And so it is that principle. We need to start to invest in our young people in order for us to begin to build, to build up the next Ruben Lifuka, to build up the next Laura Miti, to build up the next whatever anti-corruption activist that you that
the
you
next
know of.
Maurice Nyambe.
The next Maurice
But Mr. Nyambe, I'll tell you that the verse you've just given us,
yes.
If you had to ask Constance right now, she would not even remember it.
I'm sure she does, but let's not put her on the spot.
Child in the way that he should go, and he will never
when he is old, he will not.
No, I said the book.
Proverbs,
Book and then verse.
Anyway, do you know that in the paper?
So you see, I told you. I didn't lie. I told you. But
Okay, Mr. Nyambe, people have been saying the level where we have reached as a country, the corruption is just too bad. There's nothing we can do about it.
point of no redemption.
Have we reached that point?
I really wouldn't. I wouldn't subscribe to that view or to that notion. I think. I mean, there is no doubt that corruption is a big issue and a big challenge in our country today. And I mean, even when you look at, I'm sure you are aware of the Corruption Perception Index that TI does on an annual basis. I think if you look at the last two CPIs that we have had, it shows that Zambia is on a downward trend. I think our current score on the CPI is 34 out of 100. I mean, but not to go into the technical details, but basically what that entails is that if you are so 0 means you are really, really bad in terms of your corruption, and 100 means you are more or less there and you're perfect. So basically we are on 34. And I think last year we were on 35. And so it's showing a downward trend. So we are closer to the position of being bad than we are to the perfect position of being good. And so there is no doubt that the situation is very bad, and maybe some people may say the situation is getting worse. But I think for us, we see this really as a challenge, and we think that the fight and the efforts to stand up and fight against corruption really need to be accelerated. And so yes, the situation is bad and maybe it's getting worse, but I really wouldn't like to say that it's beyond redemption, because nothing is beyond redemption. And I think the onus is on us, and that's why I said we need a sort of grand coalition against corruption. I mean, we need the concerted efforts of every stakeholder, including you guys in the media, because you cannot leave this fight just to TIZ. You cannot leave this fight just to Ruben Lifuka. You cannot leave this fight just to the Anti-Corruption Commission. It needs the concerted effort of every Zambian. And I think if we come together in that spirit of being able to, to do something good and something big for our country, I think we will be able to get to the promised land, so to speak.
But Mr. Nyambe, we only had about 30 minutes with you, and I'm sure we are done with the 30 minutes. And even as we release you, I just remembered one point, Mr. Nyambe. Just bear with us, just this point. Constance asked you one question to do with involvement. Like there's some kind of underhand, some hands,
invisible hand
in the background that we don't see. And then you said no, you didn't want to really come out as in yes, that's what is happening. All right, you try to dodge that, but I'll tell you one thing. We've heard statements from a president, not anybody else, the head of state, who says, before investigating my ministers, elect me. What does that mean?
Yes, I mean, of course, we're bringing in.
Where would the independence come from? If you are already a head of state is the one saying, elect me before you investigate my ministers. I'm sure you've heard of these statements. They're in public domain.
Yes, absolutely. I think that statement is in public domain, and I think when I said that, the SEC does have challenges and maybe there are some influences at play, I think that was what I was hinting at, and I'm very happy that you've picked it up. But I think for us also, that goes right to the issue of the extent to which the SEC actually can exercise its independence. Remember, I said that I believe that they do have this desire to be independent, but I think there are forces at play that sort of hinder their ability to be able to do that. I mean, even just the case that you've mentioned, I think the statement that you've mentioned was made maybe a few months ago. But even just as recent as 2 weeks ago, I think we saw the president, I think he was on the Copper Belt or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Copper Belt.
Yeah, he made a statement to the effect that, this anti-corruption fight is political, the people are just out to get me. And then a few days later, you see his minister being acquitted. So, I mean, it's very difficult for people not to draw those, to connect those dots, you see.
Even as you sit there, let's just have this particular call and then we'll be letting you leave the studios. Good morning.
Good morning, Karen.
Good morning to you too.
President Tonga on the line.
Yes, Mr. Tonga.
How are you?
Very well, thank you, Mr. Tonga. Kindly go ahead with your contribution.
Good. Is that Fuka?
No, Mr. Morris Nyambe.
Oh, okay, good. Good morning, my lady there.
Good morning, good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, Zambia, and good morning, all the listeners and those who are viewing. This is the President Tonga, the Faith Liberation Movement. When you talk about corruption in the Republic of Zambia, the first person you need to ask is the ERT of Federal. Why do I say so? Enoch Rubio Tonga has championed a non-bearable law on corruption. And we shall continue until there is a non-bearable law on corruption. Now, quickly, first of all, I must make it clear before the people of this great nation that one, all those ministers, all those close allies to one Dr. Edgar Tagwalungu, who have been cited for corruption but given no effect, who have been taken to court and acquitted, shall all be re-arrested as the Third Liberation Movement forms government.
In 2020.
Why? Because there is no fighting corruption in the Republic of Zambia under one Edgar Tagwalungu and his failed PF project. It is all rhetoric. Edgar Tagwalungu and the entire team have embraced corruption in its entirety. Non-bearable law on corruption was adopted on 28th of February in the year 2020 by the full House. We are aware that the full House was fighting an non-bearable law on corruption. However, we are pushing it on.
All right, Mr. Tonga.
Culture of talking. Let me conclude, Karen.
Yes, conclude, because in the best interest of time, so that we allow others also.
My emphasis is this, that the Zambians, we have a culture of talking. Corruption is a silent killer. And nobody should continue talking. We must embrace, we must fight it to ensure that there's no corruption in Zambia. The way out is make this law a non-bearable. Once one is sick, he or she must be behind bars until the case is over. And we need the corrupt-free and clean leaders in
All
public
right.
office.
Thank you so much, Mr. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. We appreciate. We go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue the discussion as we pave way for Mr. Nyambe to rush and dash to other equally important matters. Mr. Nyambe, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, thank you so much for still staying with us. We are now back again on the set. Mr. Nyambe has just left the studios. We are discussing the continued Akwito's knowledge of these senior government officials, or not really senior government officials, let's say prominent citizens in this country, because they may not be in government as in ministers or PSs, but prominent citizens, whenever there's a case at the Anti-Corruption Commission, you know that the outcome, as Mr. Morris Nyanda has put it, the outcome will be negative. There's no positive. So now, why do, in the first place, why do they take those matters there? Why do they prosecute such cases constantly? Because we had the Winter Kabimbo then in the PF, the most powerful man, no corruption, the man availed himself. Nakalelo, we don't know where the case went to. Totela. We had Amos Chanda. I don't know. This case just Nole Akwito. Nole Akwito.
It's actually very sad that it happens like that, and you know, I think this is more, again, becoming more like an example to other people. They'll be like, actually, this is what's happening. Let's all just continue with what we're doing. Because obviously, with my friend, Kalani Muchima, Kwalika Nole,
Nole.
So why
it's a precedence that we are setting as a nation.
Yeah.
You know?
All the other ministers and all the other maybe prominent people with so much power and connections will be like, let's just continue with what we're doing.
Right.
There's nothing wrong. You understand?
Would I be wrong to say that the ACC seems to be a toothless body? That, I mean, look, because tell me,
people have said that. I mean, like the investigative officer, the one who was in court, the one who gave the wrong statement. I don't know, they gave the wrong statement. No, Monga, not Monga. For the
I know the one, the arresting officer in the Chitaru case, who testified that no, Minister Chitaru did not steal anything because his salary is equivalent to what he has. I mean, what we are prosecuting him for, his earnings, per year.
So it was a bit of a surprise to me, because when I talked to the should be PR, Mr. Monga, he said, of course, yes, we have suspended him because that's not the position of the commission.
Yeah.
But this is the person who was working for the commission. How did he just
And this is a person who was the arresting officer. This is a person who goes to say, we've arrested you, sir.
Yes, for this, you know, you saw that Kama tune. Sir, can we arrest you? Can we arrest you, boss? Okay, hurry up, I want to go somewhere.
To Parliament, I want to rush to Parliament. Arrest me because I'm going for Parliament right now.
So just make it quick.
Yeah, but on a more serious note, I think the institutions like Electoral Commission of Zambia, we are going into an election period. The institutions like the ECZ, we have institutions like the same ACC, DEC, even the police. These are, let's exclude the police, but these are important institutions that people should have confidence in. Let me also include the judiciary. But at the end of the day, when you see confidence being eroded in these institutions, then trust me, that's a situation that calls for concern, especially.
I remember at one point in this leader Chimbakambuli, when he was, I think, a whistleblower for something.
Right.
Yeah, he made a very serious statement.
And they almost arrested him for
whistleblowing.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello, good morning. Can you tell us your name and where you're calling us from? Though you sound like you're still in bed.
No. I'm just at your
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the window of the
Go ahead.
Yeah, it affects us both you, 8 years. And we'll see this from ministers in the previous. So it's really bad that the Corruption Commission decided something today to provide unwanted something else. So it's really bad that I think we are breaking very bad narration. Corruption is something that we can get.
Okay, apologies. The line is quite bad. Maybe you can try again. The line is quite bad. We cannot hear what you are saying. Yes, Constance, you're trying to say something.
Yes, I was saying I indicated that Shimbakambwili was once a whistleblower for a certain case, I think involving Finlay and the president, and it ended up really bad. The man was almost arrested for it, and then he started saying, being a whistleblower in this country is actually a terrible thing.
I mean, this is why people are now even scared to go and give some tips.
Yeah, how do you go and tip someone when you know you will end up being in trouble for just, I mean, when you as a whistleblower has given a tip, it should be their job to now to go and investigate how true is this.
In any case, you should not even come out to say that
it's
who told us. The more reason why they're saying you are a whistleblower. People are now scared, even to go to the personally. If you are to ask me, I'll plainly put it that I can't go to the ACC even if I'm seeing some dubious things being done there. You would rather just I would rather keep quiet than go to the ACC, because I know at the end of the day I'll become the victim myself. All right. So if you have anything, you can also call us on the numbers that is scrolling on your set and contribute to this discussion. We are talking about the continued dismissal of court cases involving high-profile figures, those in government and outside government. But the case in point is that the recent acquittal of Chitalu Chilufya, who is the Minister of Health. We've seen Ronald Chitotela also being acquitted. We've seen other prominent persons being acquitted from the courts of law. What do you make of the ACC and their job? Constance, even as we pause on this particular case, but people can still continue participating. There was one story, I don't even know how to make of it. It was yesterday. There was a very interesting article on the official Patriotic Front PF page. People were queuing up to buy, on Facebook, yes. People were queuing up to buy cell phones, promotional cell phones at the newly opened, I don't want to say the name, one of the mobile dealers, of course based here in Lusaka, but they've opened an outlet in Mongu, and there were queues of people that wanted to buy these promotional phones from the... Then the PAF wrote something on their official Facebook page and said that was a clear indication of a booming economy because people were lining up to buy phones. How about that?
A few days of...
a few days after the bank governor, Denny Kalialia, was fired and replaced by Christopher Mvunga. How about that? Christopher Mvunga all of a sudden has improved the economy of this country.
Just that.
All right?
Okay, so...
I see Constance is very scared about this story. Let me read this story for you.
Please,
and
go ahead.
Apparently, even if you went on the Facebook page for the PF,
it's been put down. It
was deleted within an hour. Trust me, the comments, I mean, we are just talking about what we were seeing. We went through, all of us, yesterday in the newsroom, so we did a story out of it. The comments, oh my goodness, were about, within 1 hour, over 345 comments, 433 reactions, yeah. 433 reactions, about 23 to 24 shares within less than an hour. That's what we had. And eventually the post was put down. Let me read this story for you. The ruling Patriotic Front PF has boasted that the economy is doing very well. A statement posted on the PF's official Facebook page refers to Mongu residents who queued to buy promotional phones from a named mobile phone dealer during the company's official opening of a branch as a clear indication of a well-performing economy. The statement further says the economy has picked up barely days after former Bank of Zambia governor Denny Kalalia was fired and replaced with Christopher Mvunga. The statement attracted 345 comments in its 1 hour of posting, with several comments being that of a displeasure. Commenting on the post, Gillian Katakala Johansen says, in countries where the economy is good, people don't queue up for anything as everything is readily available. Gillian further says the queuing observed in Mongo is an indication that everything in Zambia is wrong. Mr. Gillian ends by saying, God forbid if people were to re-elect the current leadership, Zimbabwe is going to be 10 times better than Zambia economically. The administrators of the page were, however, forced to delete the post following several negative views arising from it. All right, so those are some of the issues that we picked from the PF post on regarding the economy. So if people line up, Constance, or to buy promotional things, is that a sign of a booming economy?
No, basically, just in the normal sense, actually, when something is put on promotion, it means it has been brought down to your level. You know, what you can afford, that's what I'm saying. So when you see people queuing up, hundreds of people queuing up for something that is on promotion, you should be able to know that Black Friday, you should be able to know that things are bad, because someone should be able to just go and buy something on a normal day, on the normal price of that commodity. You don't have to wait for something to be dropped to 2 kwacha, which means 2 kwacha eokwete. You understand? So it has been dropped to your level, which means the level is...
No, but you see, for me, really, I don't want to look at the situation where people are queuing up. You are very right, Constance. And Gillian, I like Gillian's comment to say where things are readily available, people don't queue up. They'll just get them.
Yeah.
You don't need... It's like people going to queue for water, drawing water. Then there's a problem, because people should not be queuing for drawing water. All right?
Yeah.
There shouldn't be queues there.
You should just go it up, and then water should start flowing.
Flowing. You know, you are cooking in Shima, you just draw the water from the window. You start, but the moment you start carrying your buckets, your drums, and everything to go and line up, and then there's a problem. But in as much as I want to agree with you, for me, I look at it differently. How somebody would just wake up and say, let me write this.
That's the difference you're talking about.
Wow. I mean, I don't just get it. Trust me, Constance, I would prefer not even... There are certain things you don't just need to say them. Because you may just end up injuring someone out there. Yeah, in the eyes of the people that were writing, they thought that was good. But even if you want to do propaganda, this is an advice to those that do propaganda. You don't do propaganda in such a manner. The president will be commissioning the Economic Association of Zambia projects in Luapula province today. I think if they want to do some propaganda, that's the best place they can do propaganda from. Because that is reality. It's happening. You get my point?
I think they realized what they did. That's why they...
Of course, the fact that you've put it down clearly shows that, I mean, you're being insensitive towards something. All right? And not only...
Western province, that province is not really well to do. It's one of the provinces where, you know...
Well, whether it is well to do economically or not, but...
People obviously queue up in Western province or some... Even in here in Osaka, I know there are some people, but things are not that good in Western province. Kuli Njala kuja.
No, it's... I mean, Njala, we may say it's relative. We don't know how to measure Njala. Njala, even in my own house, there's Njala. Even in your own house, there's Njala. But... when you say something, you may be right, but probably the way you are putting it, because that was a two paragraph statement, but now here there are a lot of issues involved just in that in those 2 paragraphs. Number one, in instance for me, I looked at it when they say barely days after the
appointment of...
Of course. So in short, you are saying Den Kaliadia was the wrong governor.
In short, they are saying when Den Kalera was the governor, there was nothing on promotion. Or people were not...
Of course. So you can interpret that statement in so many ways. The economy started booming. People started queuing up to buy Utu, my phone here, this, to buy this. And then you say this is a good sign that economy is booming. But for me, what makes an economy boom? One of the clearest indication that the economy is doing very well, one, the kwacha right now against the dollar is 19 plus.
Yeah, basically 20 kwacha.
Basically, we're just going into the 20 kwachas. That, my friend, the economy is not good. It's not good at all. I know certain people will find this statement not appealing. I know other people out there would say, you are decampaigning these people. I know people out there will be saying, you and I shouldn't be saying these things. But this is the reality. I would need somebody to argue with me that what we are saying is wrong, either from this statement or when we say the kwacha is now going towards 20, racing towards 20 kwacha. But these are realities. Unless somebody says we shouldn't be talking about these things for the sake of just keeping quiet, not because you are giving you facts. All right? For me, a booming economy where you tell me meal is now, meal which we were buying, of course, 30 kwacha, 40 a few years ago, is now costing 110. All right? I was buying a 10 kg bag yesterday. A 10 kg bag, Constance, it was costing me 60 kwacha. A 10 kg bag, 60 kwacha. One bag of cement is costing 120. I would need somebody to tell me that the facts that we are giving you are wrong. If those are wrong, I'm ready to apologize. And I'm ready for somebody to take me to somewhere where they are selling those things cheaper than the prices we are giving you. Of course, there will be a slight change. Maybe here it's 116 or 115, but we are in the same range. Okay?
Yeah, don't worry. Somewhere, things are on promotion, and people are queuing up.
That's where people are saying it's not really good that to make fun of people who are suffering, and you go on to say things are good because you are enjoying Constance. It's wrong. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you too.
Yes, please.
Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Yeah, this is Mlenga calling from Mbela.
Yes, Mr. Mlenga.
Yeah, I want also to contribute.
Sure, there are two issues here. You can choose whichever you want to contribute on. But however, how is the economy on the copper belt? We hear in Mongo the economy is booming.
Yeah, you know, generally speaking, things are better. I don't know how to describe. Things are not successful that way. Yeah.
You can go ahead, Mr. Mlenga.
Yeah, you know, the problem that we have here is that we have got a very shuffling around speaking better.
Go ahead, Nangula.
What's that question that here? What's your name? You also say it's about how to try to motivate you. People support the reaching to the they support even a very low country. Look at the money we into Chama Tender, Chama Fire. People are arrested to welcome a comment. You know, these are machines, but machines are Suma, Sani. Look at also that comment that we are better. That's a line of Ishama foreign doctors as well as the economy is booming. How can you describe that? The economy is booming. I think this is the attitude that the behavior that is not really Japanese character as because as long as we continue even supporting a contribution like and that stress is not right. I think that is a contribution. So we can put that in use when I need a proper phone, which is the sharing of Bakayana. You know, that move with this call. You can't just carry on even the meeting the problem. So I think that we are meant to
Right.
This country.
Right.
We are not happy at all.
Thank you so much.
My contribution. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I think, just like you said, we would all of us, I think, would want to see the person who really wrote that.
No, I mean,
we want to know, like, oh, so you are the one, okay?
Yeah, I would just want to go into this person's.
To know the person who really wrote.
I just go into this person's mind, and you know, it's like you want to become relevant on irrelevant things.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't have. Sometimes they say silence is golden. You know, you can also do propaganda in silence. Don't say anything. That's also good propaganda. But there's a certain propaganda which just backfires. Like in this case. In this case, you are forced to pull it down. You become even more embarrassed. Good morning. Good morning to you too, sir. Can you tell us your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm calling from Kabul and I'm Kefas Kabul.
Yes, Mr. Kefas.
Yeah, I'm telling you, not more people. The economy is very bad. People said that are in poverty. You see, the problem is the things with rotten now they want to build themselves, which is bad. Can you open that the economy is bad? How do you post that the economy is okay? No, the economy is not okay. You are pulling people. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Constance, are we the ones who wrote that statement?
No.
Are we wrong to discuss it?
It's our job to discuss it. To discuss issues, we get paid for that. No, we get paid to talk. We are the fourth estate.
But as all we are saying is we are just analyzing what our colleagues wrote.
Yeah. They can also analyze us. There's no problem.
We don't really need to start bringing people here to say, what did you mean as a party? Why should we bring somebody who has already said what they've said? We bring them in this studio to start talking about it again.
What did you mean? So they can explain themselves?
I mean, how can you explain something that has already been explained? No, I'm asking you a question, Constance. Somebody has already explained in detail that this thing happened in Mongu. People are lining up to buy promotional phones. I mean, all the detail. Please, can you, colleagues, you can put back those pictures. At least we got them even before they were. Thank you. Let's go to the other one. These were just some of the comments which we picked. Yeah, here it is. Economy doing very well. This is the PF official page. Even when you open it, it will tell you this is the official page. I want to read the. So these are the people that we are lining up for promotional funds. Maybe they are on their bicycles. Let's go back to the first statement. How I wish it can be paused, because I wanted to read this one. Below is a queue of residents waiting to buy cell phones at the newly opened mobile city in Mongu. I was avoiding saying it, but anyway, in Mongu district, Western Province. This is a few days from the time Bank of Zambia Governor Den Kalyalia was fired. That is the statement. This is not our statement. We are just analyzing this statement. We don't even need to call somebody to come and sit here and start explaining.
I think what is more embarrassing is the last part, actually. This is a few days when...
Correct.
You know, does that even connect to...
There's no connection. Even if he's your relative, there's written no connection. If to learn that, you know, sometimes don't just wake up and start writing things because you are bored. All right? Because you are bored. If
anybody else maybe can do, but not an official page of the ruling government. You know?
Yeah. But if the kwacha came down to 10 kwacha, barely days when Den Kalyalia was fined, trust me, would have been clapping and say, this is the correct statement. Not there's a change in leadership and the kwacha is still going up. Then what? All right, there's a caller on the line. You can talk to this person. Oh, somebody's gone. Yeah, as we were saying, if today, because there's also an investment called goodwill. All right? Goodwill, if today Camnet is being sold, all right, you are going to the price, then also you are touching the goodwill. Say, look, the price is so because Camnet is known, Camnet is a brand, Camnet is blah blah blah, Camnet has been on the market, Camnet is on these platforms, Camnet reaches to these people, Camnet blah. That's goodwill, my friend. All right? So your price is also based on the goodwill of an institution or a brand. Okay? If let's say a marketing institution wants to use you on their billboard, why did they come to you? Because you're a brand. So even their money you have to be asking for. All right? Look at people like Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi. Those are brands and they've got businesses with so many institutions because these are big figures. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning. Just reduce the volume on your TV set, sir.
Hello?
You are through to the program. Just reduce the volume on your TV set. I can hear myself through your TV.
Yeah, that's my volume. The TV is off.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, my name is Rupari from Gawindira.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The only thing I can say, where someone is saying that the economy is booming. Yeah. The only problem we have here in Zambia, we love ourselves and we love the party instead of loving our country, to see our country going forward. That is the only problem. Someone can see that this is wrong, but he just wants to support what is wrong for the favor of someone or just he like that person or not just to favor him because of him. Now, if we love our country, where it is wrong, we need to say it is wrong.
Right.
Where it is right, you say it is right. Even the people can see that, oh, this thing is not right. How can someone queue up for the just a promotion whereby when you need a phone, a mobile phone, even a single phone, you can just buy at any time you feel like buying. Now, if it was not a promotion, so those people would have buying any phone there. So that is my simple conclusion. Let us love our country, but not loving some, not following a party or whatever. Where it is wrong, just saying it is wrong.
Right. Thank you so much. Right. You may as well call us and let's hear your views. We're discussing two things here. One, the acquittal of Health Minister Taluchilufia. And of course, this is a statement where the PF is saying the economy is doing very well based on people that were queuing up in Mongo to buy promotional phones at a mobile city outlet, new outlet, which was just being opened. And of course, you know about business? When you just start to call people, to who people, your clients, customers, your prices always have to be down, so people can come in numbers. Then secondly, it's like chikanda. You know when you're buying chikanda, always chikanda, they don't ask. And I don't know. Everywhere you go, any part of this country,
Chikanda, that's how it is. Bakupasa jongo first.
Cha, here.
Yes,
they can even give you here.
And then that's when you can buy.
Nah, that's when
sometimes
you can.
If you don't like it,
you even go, and they don't complain.
No, they don't.
And this something, you know, I can go and eat jonko here, like if you're going, traveling to let's say Mansa using Chembe Bridge, or you're using the Mkambo border. All right, you are using that road. Once you reach Chembe there, on the Zambian side, you realize that these ladies who sell chikanda, there will be a line of them, a queue of them. You'll be eating, you eat here, you eat here, you eat here, and they are all giving you, they give you. Now, honestly, why should I buy chikanda? I've already eaten from all of them, and they will not complain.
And then you go just like that.
They will not complain. Whether you buy, you don't buy, they don't care.
Yeah, I think I like the views of the last caller. People should love the country more than they love the party, actually. You should be able to be in politics because you want to better conditions of living. Zambians should be first and then the party second. Because I think I've also observed that people now move from just being normal cadres to butilikas now. die hard. We were just a normal cadre because we are all cadres at a point. It's just that in Zambia when you say I'm a cadre, you were quite buffy. But we are
professional cadres. A journalist is a professional cadre.
Yeah.
A nurse is a cadre. They are also political cadres. Political cadres, they are cadreism has been reduced to you and Dekuma, you station.
Then that's the picture they have.
No, that's not what cadreism is all about.
Yeah.
Cadreism.
So, just like I was saying, they are cadres. Yes, there's nothing wrong with being a cadre.
Yeah.
But the kind of cadre that you are is what matters. You understand? So people now move from just being normal and good cadres to bootlickers. Now all they can do is just to try and please Kala and Muchima, who's on the top. If you don't do that, then Katwishi. You understand? That's why you find that people start posting things that will implicate them now because they want to please someone to prove a point that Kalan is doing something sensible.
But talking about pleasing, Constance, for how long have I tried to please you? But you don't even
We have a caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Okay.
Wonderful.
Yeah. My proposition, I think you people from the TV, sometimes because you want to find where there is not. Most of the time, when you see things go well, you don't talk about good things. You only see where there is good, where there is good. That's why most of the time you are the people who are bringing anarchy with them. Because fight that for nothing. Because you don't do all the time. When you are there moving, more especially that
Kalan Muchima.
what you need to know first before. You need to know Zambia is good, Zambia is doing, Zambia is power. So when you want to criticize with feedback. You don't criticize because you concern. It's not all family. When you talk about inclusion, you talk about the economy and compare to which country is doing better than Zambia. Look at the infrastructure. Look at the things that are happening in Zambia. Which government so far, apart from the president, starting from Karina, but in the way what the president has done, we need also to think to people to say, look at maybe what has affected our economy and use. Not all the time you want to decide to say, no, you are talking about fasting all the time. This is not right. Because at the end of the day, you make yourself and myself to fight. When you can't fight everybody, you can't fight you can't fight somebody. So that is where you think to say, no, these things are not well. Well, I think that I think it's a kind of fear. But the fact is, you are fighting for preaching, which good thing, but not whether you find that you always want to tell whether or not to change. Thank you.
No, before you go, sir.
Yes.
Are you sure you've never heard us talk good, whether it's in the news or on these programs? You've never heard anything where we've said something good about what's going on?
Well, like in my case, at the very in my case, all these which are not the better victims, apart from now, then at least you can see one or two things that it would work. But you people from the time that I can watch TV, that's the TV. You know, certain things, the economy is not doing. Practically, when was we fired police, you expect that not that you go. When it's not that the man. It's not something that you have to trust. It means that
Yeah, so So now you are supporting what we are saying. This is a statement that the PF wrote. It's not us. It's the PF who said the economy is doing well barely days after Den Kaliadia was fired. It's not us. We are analyzing a statement issued by the PF, not us. So how then would you blame us to say how the economy, I mean, the kwacha can't just improve within days? It's not us who said that statement. Are you there? Yes. So I'm just telling you that you are accusing us where you are saying, how do you expect the kwacha to come down barely days when Mvunga was appointed? But we are telling you, this is exactly what we are saying. It's not us saying it. It's the PF who are saying that the economy has improved barely days when Den Kaliadia was fired. That is the statement. You watch, colleagues, just put just continue watching, put the statement there. Thank you. Are you able to read?
Yeah, I can able to read, yes.
Read that. So it's not us. Read it.
Yes.
So how then are you shifting the blame on us because we've discussed this thing?
Well, what I'm talking about, I think you are not getting my point.
Rephrase your point again.
What I mean, when you are there for people. When you are there to teach us. When you are there to unite us. When you see people, even talking about Israelis to say they are bringing armor to this country, what we need to do, Zambia for all.
Yes.
It's one Zambia nation. What I'm talking about, you are emphasizing on when people are talking about not capitalism, what you're talking about capitalism. Capitalism is not something that we should do all the time because people are fighting and people are dying. And if you don't see it yourself, you should also treat yourself. This means should not be there. You don't understand because look at what is happening now. When you are doing this, what are you expecting yourself? You don't need to do stuff. That's what I mean, Zambia is a good nation. I want people to enjoy and continue to enjoy our nation. We don't need to fight him. That's what I don't want.
Okay, maybe I've lost you. I hear you, yes. And we've always preached against people fighting each other. On this program, every now and then we've discouraged people from fighting. So maybe, sir, enlighten us. How are we promoting disunity in this country? Number one, how are we promoting disunity? How are we making people fight?
When you're talking about criticism, on the cement, you talk about cement 120. When cement price, okay, why did you say cement is 110 when you are pushing to 120? When you get out some of the
Interesting views.
I'm lost. Yeah, in one breath he's saying, yes, quite all right, cement is 120. He's agreeing with
He's actually changed his statement. At first he was saying, oh, you as the media, you're just talking about the negative things that the PF are doing, you're not talking about... So I just wanted maybe to ask him, says that you...
Yeah, he's gone.
Is it wrong for us to point out some of the bad things that government is doing? I mean, this is our country. We're trying to fix the country. And I mean, why should you praise your own dad for buying bread anyway?
I was about to ask that question.
Does he get praise from his children whenever he buys minimum?
I wanted to ask
him, like, your dad.
I want to ask the same question.
As a father, you should do that. No one should praise you for buying food for your own children.
It's like you are a worker and you are paid for working.
And then you start clapping for your boss.
Thank you for paying me.
For a job that you did.
Honestly, all right, Constance,
no,
government builds roads and then we should be there to clap. Thank you for building us roads.
That's your money.
I mean, when you are, that is our money. That's our money which is building those roads. I mean, when you are campaigning...
Where did he say he was calling from? Maybe
I've even forgotten. But the truth of the matter is, honestly, Constance, honestly, I fail to comprehend this. When people are campaigning, No, when we come in government, we shall lower the cost of doing business. We shall improve your economy. I mean, when minimum comes to 60 kwacha, then I should clap for you. Yay! Thank you for reducing minimum. Is that my job?
This is the same problem of just supporting things which are not even making sense. You understand? That man is he keeps on changing statements. He's supporting things that he doesn't even know himself. You understand? Why didn't you say minimum was 120 or what?
110, where minimum was 110.
Minimum were high, and we can't run away from that.
I want somebody to come and tell me that you are lying. That's all I want. I want you to come and say, you are lying. So if I say minimum is 120, then I'm promoting anarchy, or we are promoting anarchy. Is that what it means? We are under 7 minutes, Constance. And of course, Amore is in the house. We talk about sports. I know you don't like sports because you don't follow sports. So it's okay.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
You can just be listening to us. Yeah. Musika is here. Musika is back so that we accommodate Amore on the set.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Amore, good morning.
As Vupri Vapra.
As Vupri Vapra.
Yeah, on set.
On set.
Constance, baby.
Are you vappling?
No, I'm Vupling.
Nice.
I want to read that.
I must you a question.
Oh.
So if you don't have a mustache, you're God. You're gone.
But what am I got?
Yeah?
Irikwisa.
Tuwali ifumya.
No, but tomorrow from Yasha Nesi.
Tumaleka kwa iche.
Tuweshe kwamba yes. And we reduce amba yes.
Yeah, trimming edge.
Trimming
Yeah,
edge.
trimming a
I must touch you a question. So, must touch us a question with what is happening in the world of sports.
A lot is happening in the world of sports, but I will look at, I'll shift my concentration on what happened during the course of the week. We saw a very good performance with Enoch Mwepu and Patson Daka.
Don't just say Enoch Mwepu.
Enoch the computer Mwepu. Yeah, you know, it's very nice as us, the sports family, seeing a performance like that with them being in, I think, in their early 20s and performing such.
No, don't talk about the years.
Giving such a performance with a big club like Liverpool. It's something that a lot of people look like. We now look up to them anyway. They are the future stars for Zambia. It's hard scoring a bless with a high-rated defender like Van Dijk, you know. But anyway, we saw praise again from Michu praising the lads to say the future is bright.
Right. They played 72, all of them, before they were
substituted.
Kangwa was also. I mean, it seems our lads are doing very well.
Yeah, we saw Kingsley Kangwa in Russia again giving up a very good performance in terms of he scored, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the performance was also highly appraised, rated, to say so. And okay, a lot has been happening in terms of our foreign-based players. We saw also Lazarus Kambole scoring his first goal for Kaizer Chiefs since he signed for them. So I feel like Michu have a lot of variety of players to pick from, and for me, I see a team that will be a record in the African continent. Yeah.
But Constance, you have a question?
Really? Really? No, I don't.
All right.
I just want to find out, there's something that you said about years. No, we shouldn't touch years. Like, why? Why shouldn't we touch years?
the football years fiabo fi.
But you know he's under, what do they call
Mbesuma
him?
celebrated his 20th birthday, I don't know, 6 or 7 times. He was still at 20.
No, that's the reason why I didn't specify. I just said they're in their early 20s.
From the under 20, somebody was cheating. And then said, you know, then the age, and then, and then after you won the man of the match, I'm sure you know him. I don't want to say it. Then the guy was like, I want to thank my wife, my children.
No, you leave it there.
That's the under 20 girl.
I think it's the only thing that Constance has understood.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So you've never heard of these things? That Cameroonian guy, the guy is 43 and he's saying he's 19 years old. Okay, guys, wrap up. We need to go. Thank you so much for coming through.
Yeah, really
Constance
made me laugh.
No.
Like, ish, give me.
It's a vuplija.
No, you know we are
Never ask a footballer of their age, my friend. You know somebody, I want to thank my wife much. You honestly say, now you started having children at the age of 12. Okay, have a good morning. Bye. Good morning.